Hey, so this LSAT strategy is about the review work that you do. I would recommend dedicating one notebook to all of your review work. I would say to do all of the sections in one book, just because I don't see I just don't see myself deriving any additional benefit from having a notebook for each section. So I would recommend using this notebook for everything other than your full-length timed diagnostics, because you're going to be doing those under real testing conditions, and that doesn't include a notebook. It includes bubble sheets. I just wouldn't recommend doing that in a notebook. And then also you'll see in another tip that I use a separate notebook for like actual notes about law school. So this is just all of your review work for the test is going to be in here. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I do process-wise for studying. So I think I have a good system going, so I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. And they're like little organizational tips, but I think that they're really great for keeping me organized and keeping me feeling like I've got things under control. So the thing that I always do in the beginning every day of every session, is I date the top of the page. I'm really sorry about those shadows. There's nothing I can do about that. So here, as you can see, I've dated the page, and then I've also written down my starting time, and I just think that's really beneficial because then I know what I did and when I did it, and it also helps me like organize my day, because then I know, like, if I know like how long I spent on a particular section, then I know how I can plan the rest of my day. And actually I can show you in another video or another part of this video, I actually plan out my timings and my dates beforehand. So when I wake up in the morning, I already know what I'm supposed to be doing that particular day. I reckon it would be really difficult to study for the LSAT if you don't have a plan. I think it's so important to have a plan and be organized. So on the top left of my page, I have the like reference point. I think it's so important also because to have that, because like, you know, you would want to be able to go back. Like, let's say, okay, totally lost my train of thought. So I just think it's really good to have like a reference point. Like over here, I've got the book because I have a lot of different books that I use. So this is my logical reasoning book. And then I have my chapter number underneath that, the topic name, and then my page numbers. And then these are my practice questions that I've been doing. So as you can see here, I've got this reference number. This is a universal reference number, actually. The PT stands for practice test, ask section, and Q is question. So if you were to look up this exact same reference number, you would see the same question that I have, because these are from actual tests that were administered in previous years, which is good to know because I want to be doing questions from the actual LSAT. I don't want somebody making up fake questions and teaching me off of that, because I just don't think it would benefit me as much. And then I do my, I answer my questions in black ink, as you can see, and I correct them or write any explanatory notes in a different colored ink. And I kind of like to switch off between questions just so I can keep it all organized visually. And then the other thing that I would recommend is flagging particular questions. So I actually got both of these questions correct, but I thought that they would be good to come back to in about a week's time. That's kind of what when I flag something, that's what it means, is like that I'm going to come back to it eventually in a little bit of time. This isn't straight. Okay. Yeah, so then I'm going to come back to it and try it again and see if I'm still getting it right. Am I really comprehending it at a deep level? Just so, like, you know, can I do it with my brain half shut off? That's kind of my criteria. So next, yeah, just more questions, flagging, really important. So here I actually wanted to show you one more thing. So if you can see these royal blue inked things, you might be wondering what those are. Those actually, I figured out, I don't really know if they teach you this in a lot of books. My book didn't really teach me this, but I kind of figured it out. The books that I'm using, they don't explicitly say this. They kind of indirectly tell you. Sorry, that got cut off. So these are your three different logical reasoning structures for the argument family. Wait, I could be completely saying that wrong. It's either the argument family or the assumption family. You know what? I think it's the... Okay, I can't remember the word for it, but I'm pretty sure these are familiar to you if you have been studying. But basically, you know, this one is premise, thus conclusion. That's probably the one that you're most used to, but actually you could technically say that all of them are like this, but actually it's more beneficial, I think, to know that there's also the possibility of premise plus complementary premise, thus conclusion. And in this case, you would literally have one premise and then a second premise with a plus sign in between, which means and, but it's not like the same thing. You really shouldn't combine your premises. And then here it's premise, thus intermediate conclusion, thus conclusion, which I also think is really important to be able to identify those differences. And so basically I have this post-it note kind of like tacked on my wall in front of my desk so that I can remember how that's supposed to work. Okay. Other things that I can tell you about this are, I don't know what other tips to give you. But yeah, like flagging questions is really important. You know, sometimes like you're working on questions and after a certain point your brain just turns into mush. I feel like I get that every single day. Like at one point, that's kind of how I determine like I need to stop studying right now, because I'm just not comprehending it anymore and my brain is shutting off. And so at that point I feel like it's important to just stop, give yourself a break. The other thing I would say is have a special, I have a special flag for really difficult questions, things that like at the end I still didn't get it, even after I corrected it, even if I tried it again. At that point, like I would add this with the angry face, you know, because you want to be able to come back and do these again. So I actually got 2 of those in a row, which is probably not a good thing, but at least I labeled it and I'm gonna, you know, I have the resolve to like come back to it. And I think that's it. That's probably all I wanted to say. Yeah, I'll also have like my notes in here, and these are just things that I learned along the way. And then when I have free time, when I don't have like time to study or I don't have a study book with me, I always carry this notebook with me in my bag, and that way, like if I'm, you know, waiting in line somewhere, I can just open my notebook and start looking over my notes. That way it keeps it in my brain. This is like another like practice set, and I have the flags again. Didn't use stickers this time, but same thing. And then I leave like little notes there for things that I've been forgetting to do. So I have the bad habit of reading the scenario before I read the question stem, and you're supposed to read the question stem, you know, because they tell you so many different rules and things to remember. It's hard to like follow everything that they tell you, so you kind of have to train your brain. And I think that's pretty much all I want to say about the study notebook. And if I have other tips or learning anything along the way that I feel like might benefit other people, I can definitely do another video. And let me know if you guys have any questions about different sections. And if I'm able to do a video about it, or I feel like I have a good understanding of it, I will be more than happy to do another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.